Good morning, fret friends. Now then, this video is one of those I should have known better videos. Now it's about a Warwick neck, base neck. You know, I've done 3 of these dead necks with snap truss rods, and I've repaired them, replaced a truss rod by steaming off a fingerboard and what have you, and I've done 3 and they've all come out brilliant. I've got 2 more already lined up, and here's one I've just done. Now, I didn't film a start to this one because I thought it'd be a simple job, and you'll see later on that it wasn't as simple as I thought it would be. So because I didn't film a beginning to this video, because I wasn't going to video it, I'll tell you how it came in. And this belongs to a guy who I don't really know, but he knows of me from back in the 80s from my band Concrete Socks, and he's a bassist and he's into the punk scene still. And he saw my videos, and he got a Warwick bass neck that was like all the others. Got a massive twist in this end and was bent. Fortunately on this one, which made it different, is that the truss rod wasn't snapped. So it was a lot easier than the 3 I've already done and the 2 I'm going to do. So I thought, I'll not video it. Then I thought, hang on, I need to video it. The guy is paying good money for this being fixed. I need to video it. So I have videoed the work, most of the work, but I didn't video at the beginning. So here, so let me just explain how this was. This just had a big twist down that way, and it also had a hump, and the frets weren't level. So as you'll see in this video, I've corrected all of that. So another fantastic project. This is done. I just need to put another coat or 2 of oil on it, and it's actually finished. This is the finished piece. As you'll see, it's now straight and it's beautifully profiled, and everything's all stuck back really nice. It's had a fret level recrown and polish, and they look absolutely fantastic. But you see in this, basically at this part, I should have filmed this before, but I didn't. So anyway, enjoy the rest of the video and see what I did to get this neck back straight. It's ready to ship back now, but I just wanted to do this little introduction and just to explain why. And from now on, you will see the rest of the video, so enjoy it. Good afternoon, fret friends. We have another Warwick neck on the jig, and again, same sort of thing, big twist in that. This will be the 4th one I've had in. I've got more doing as well. Big twist in the neck, it's all warped and bent, but luckily or fortunately on this one we don't need to change the truss rod. So what I've done is I've had it on my jig, surrogate body, this piece of MDF there. I've got it on my jig, all clamped and strapped in, straightened, and then we've taken some guitar strings, attached to these screws, and we've twisted the head, the neck round to where it needs to be. Then we've put on a strip of steel, clamped in position, and I've heated it for a good length of time with a hot iron. And what I'm doing now is I'm just going to remove the clamps to see where we are. In fact, I'm going to loosen these, and we'll see if we've got the neck any straighter. We've got the twist out of it, so I'm going to loosen these right now, like so. So we're loose. I'm going to see if we've done the job and got the neck straight. Again, this is one of those that was twisting that way, angled down a good, I don't know how many degrees it was, but it was a big slant. So I'm just going to have a look down the line. This was just placed here just to hold the fingerboard to the neck in the right place, because they can slip when you're heating them because the glue melts. So we'll get that one out of the way. So I'm just going to have a look, see where we are, and well, we've over bent that. We've gone a little bit too far, which is fantastic, because when the string's on, it'll straighten up again. So we have fixed that guitar. I'm going to take that as a given that we've straightened the neck. So we've gone over just a little bit. That's great, because it's no problem at all to twist it back the other way just a little. So I'm really pleased with that. So this is a Warwick neck on my own version of a Stumac neck jig. I do actually own a real Stumac neck jig now, but this is my own version, and I use this for straightening necks. And I've got the neck clamped on to the jig. I've got the support rods underneath, and where these 2 tuners are, I have 2 strings attached to the body of the jig. And as I turn these clockwise, it twists the head that way. And what I'm trying to do is get this part of the neck level with that part of the neck, so it's not twisted, because the twist was this way. So I've got a lot of tension on these two strings and we're twisting the neck back. And what we're going to do shortly is, I know it looks on camera, it looks like it's twisted down on, so that side's twisted down. It actually isn't. If I'm going to get in the way, but that is twisted just about straight. It might be a little bit just off here, so I'm just going to take it back and let me just eye this again. You've got to get this, it's not absolutely critical, but you want to get this as straight as possible with the other end. Now this was leaning that way, so I've already bent it quite a lot. I actually went too far, so I've bent it back and I've gone back just a little bit more than I ought to have done. So I'm just having a look here. It's still twisted the wrong way. So what we're going to do is, what I'm doing is I'm looking at the last fret. That looks pretty much bang on. That's about as straight as I'm going to get it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick a strip of steel on there. I'm going to put on there a hot iron. And the iron's going to sit on there, it's going to heat the neck through. And it's going to basically melt the glue. The fibres are going to expand or contract or whatever, and it's going to bend. And then we're going to remove this, let it cool down, and once it's cooled down, when we take these two strings off, or the tension off, the neck will be straight. Now what I must do, before I get any heat in anywhere, is I must clamp this end of the fingerboard. Otherwise, the fingerboard will slip from the neck. So bear with me a second, I'm going to get in the way again, but I just want to make sure that this is going to go the way I want it to go. So I'm going to see where we are with this. And that, to me, doesn't look too bad. It's probably going down a bit on one side. Yep, so we've got a little bit much there. And I'll just keep adjusting until I get straight with the other end. And that's not looking too bad, you know. What's that saying to you guys? Let's get this one on here. And we need those to just about line up. And they're not looking too bad. I think the one on the far side is just a little bit wrong. We need to line this pair up. That doesn't look bad, does it? Doesn't look bad at all. What we're saying there. And I'm thinking we're just about where we need to be. What do you reckon? I'm going to say that that's about where we need it to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp this end now. That's to stop me marking fingerboard. A piece of wood underneath to give me something so I don't clamp directly onto the base. In fact, I'm going to let me go there. I'm going to go there because otherwise I can't get the clamp on. And then I just want a good clamp here. Don't worry about a piece of metal moving about. You're not bothered about that. I'm not doing anything to anyone. I just need to clamp. That is holding the fingerboard to the neck and it won't slip. What I need to do is I'm going to stick this strip of metal on there. I do have a good end and a bad end of this. I think this is the end that goes directly on the frets. And that's good. And that is on the fingerboard, and all I need to do is get the iron, just a standard clothes iron, which I'm going to put there. That'll hold the flex so it doesn't move anywhere. The good thing about this guitar is it's got a dark neck, so if I do scorch the wood you're not going to know, or you're not going to see. And that's it, and that's as much as I have to do, and all I do then is turn on the iron. It's just a bit off for heat. I'll come and check this every 10 or 15 minutes, and that's going to get heat through the neck. Then I'm going to let it cool down naturally, Once I've got enough heat, sufficient heat through the neck, I'm going to let it cool down naturally, and when we take the clamps off tomorrow, that should be perfectly straight. Regarding the Warwick neck, the first part of the problem is fixed. I've got the twist out of the neck. Now it took me a lot of faffing about, a lot of rejigging, a lot of heat over a period of a week or so. Initially I bent it too much, so I had to bend it back, then I bent it again and straightened it. But the downside to that is, because we have to clamp this end to stop the fingerboard slipping or shifting, and we've got that much heat in, the fingerboard has shrunk in ways, so the neck is sticking out more, and you can feel it. You can feel a ridge down here. Now how I compensate for that is I clamp again dead straight, and I clamp at both ends so we don't get no slippage. Then I'm going to get some steam into the fingerboard in the area where it's shrunk, and the steam will expand the wood back and it will go back to its original shape, because it'll melt the glue. But also once it's been done, the glue will cool down, it'll stick, it'll be straight again. All I have to do then is just gently sand the edges, because at the moment these frets are sticking out ever so slightly because the wood has shrunk. But this happens on all of them. It's happened on every one so far. Once we get this clamp, this end, we'll be able to get some steam in, it'll expand again, and but it'll stay straight this time because we've already got the neck straight. Once that's done, then we can get some sand to it, then we can come and look about making sure it's level or straight this way. We may have to back clamp again to a flat piece of something and steam over the top. So whatever we need to do, we will do, but these are a long process. You have to be patient, you have to be brave, because if you're scared, because some people, if we're doing this, we're probably really scared now we've done this. It's just part of the process, because we've shrunk the fingerboard and the neck has stayed as it is. You can feel that ridge there. We're going to get rid of that by re-expanding the fingerboard. Now the neck is straight. So, more next time. Hello friends, we've got a bit of a treat for you today, because I've got the Warwick neck back on the jig, clamped at this end so nothing can slip there, clamped at this end so nothing can slip there. It's perfectly straight. And what we're doing is we're going to steam into the board, because when I straighten the neck, the fingerboard shrinks, because obviously I've got a damp cloth on there, and I'm getting, no, not a damp cloth, I'm getting dry heat in there, and to heat through the wood. And once it does, it softens glue and everything, but it shrunk the fingerboard. So we're gonna, with it clamped at both ends so nothing can move, we are now going to steam the fingerboard. And this is going to get some steam in there, and it's going to expand the fingerboard again. It's going to contract, expand, and it'll be the same thickness as the neck again. That way, we'll have a fully functioning neck. So it's just a matter of getting some damp in there, a really hot iron, and all we're doing is we're putting heat and moisture into the neck. So we're going to get the iron warm up again, and already I can feel it expanding a bit. It's already expanding because that gets some moisture back into the wood. Don't be shy with the water. Again. And this is the only way I found of doing it. This way, it means we're going to have a neck more or less as it came out of the factory. It's going to take a few good goes to get the steam to penetrate all the way through the wood, because we need to go right through to the neck. Oh, that's good. The bottom of the neck is hot. That's fantastic. So it's already working. We're already expanding the fingerboard. When I've let this dry down naturally, or cool down naturally, I haven't got much work to do on the neck itself. So let's see where we are. And already that's made a big difference down this side. The frets now are not hanging over the edge like they were. So that's already made a big difference. I'm still going to have to scrape a little bit of the neck. I'm going to sand everything and reprofile everything, but a lot less drastic than before. Because what you need to know with these things is you know how to work, how wood works. I'm just going to keep going in this area. Well, that, my friends, is working a treat. We're just about there already. I bet we had a millimetre, the neck was overhanging the fingerboard by about a millimetre before. And now we're just about remarried. That's just superb. A little bit more down this end. I should have done this in more detail, this video. It's just because I've done 3 before. I thought I'm not bothered with this one. It's quite straightforward. We're not removing the truss rod. I have got another Warwick in right now, and we are removing the truss rod. So we're going to steam the actual fingerboard off of the guitar whilst trying to keep the frets and everything intact. It's a big job. So what we're doing is, I'll try and explain simply, the fingerboard shrunk while we were straightening the neck because we applied the heat from the top of the neck. So the fingerboard itself shrunk because the glue melted underneath between the neck and the fingerboard. The fingerboard shrunk. When it dried, you've got the neck is a millimetre wider than the actual fretboard. So we're just steaming, get some steam into the fretboard again. Like so, and expanding the fretboard to where it was before. And we're just about there. All I have to do is let this dry natural, and that is a lot better. A lot better. There's still a tiny bit of an overhang, but I'm going to scrape that off. It's going to ever so slightly change the profile of the neck, but only slightly. But I tell you what, it was a millimetre aside, it's now about 1/4 of a millimetre in the worst places. I need to get some more steam in this area. Irons on full. On the non-steam option. Just want a dry iron. And we're getting loads of moisture into his fingerboard again, which is brilliant. We're just about there, that's fantastic. Like I said, I've got another one in. It's a Warwick Corvette. It's a 2000-ish model, so it's after 96, so it's a non-removable truss rod. The truss rod snapped in that one. So, big job on there. Could be my 5th one. And I've got another one behind that. So that'll be my 6th. So there'll be 6 Warwick necks I've repaired. Severe twist and truss rod replacement. Price now about £550 with a truss rod replacement. If you don't forget, yeah, when your fingerboard steamed off, truss rod replaced, neck cleaned, glued back together, then you're having your frets levelled, reprofiled, then you're having your neck reprofiled, sanded and oiled back up to spec. It's a 40-hour job. So I'm going to charge them £550 including the truss rod. It's really cheap. Right, that neck is done. What I need to do now is just let that glue cool as it is. The neck was dead straight when I put it on the clamp, so it should dry dead straight. Tiny bit of an overlap there, but nothing major at all. Really pleased with that. That is so good. Okay, I've got straight edge knocking about. Just have a look, see where I am straight edge wise. There's nothing in that. There's nothing in that looking down that side. You might wonder why I got black glove on. It's not because I'm doing this steam job, it's because I've had my hand tattoo touched up yesterday. And that is looking really nice. So I've got a lovely profile down there. All we've got to do with that now is when it's dried, I'm going to receive the next level. If it is, I'm going to level the frets or reprofile the frets, level them, reprofile them. Then we're going to reprofile the neck up to the edge of the wood on the fingerboard. And get it all oiled up and get it sent back to its owner. I've charged him a lot less now. I've charged him 275. He's not got a lot of money, only a 250 budget. That's his luck. Taking the mickey really, but I've done it for 275. I've done for 275 including postage back. So I'm, you know, but this didn't have a truss rod replacement. It still needs a lot of work though. I'm going to just steam this area a little more. So that's just about it for you guys. I'm going to get some more steam in there, but I'm happy with where it is at the moment. I still think I can get a better result, and I will come back and show you update later on. Okay. Neck is now off the jig. Just going to remove it. This is a surrogate body I've got here. It's a piece of 30mm thick MDF. I always bolt next to this when I need to work on a neck or level frets or what have you. It's great as a surrogate body. Don't forget I was only sent the neck, I wasn't sent the whole base. So I'm just going to remove the screws. Drop them out there. That's a surrogate body. So just move this out of the way. Great piece of kit, that board. Has a lot of use. Okay, so what have we done? Well, we've got the twist out of the neck for starters. You might see it from there. If you look down the length of that. Also, got everything glued back. I've reprofiled the neck. I steamed the fingerboard as you've seen to bring the width back with it clamped that end and that end so the neck didn't move. And what I've done then is I've reprofiled the edges just here, and I need to final sand, so we're going to grab some 240 grit and some 400 grit. I'm just going to cut a piece off. It's not going to need a great deal of work, this. And then a piece of 240. I'll also grab some 400 just to smooth it all off. Here's a piece of 400. Like I say, I've already been over with 80 grit. It's all about reprofiling this part of the neck. Because like I said, if I can explain to you, when I said to you, when we straightened it, we got a lot of heat in the top and it shrunk the fingerboard with the glue melting between the fingerboard and the neck, with the neck clamped obviously. But we weren't going to get any slippage, but we were going to get shrinkage here. So once I got the neck straight, what I did then was clamp again here, and I've steamed all this area here to spread the wood back because it had shrunk, and now we've got it all spread back. But with it clamped there and at the end, nothing moved again. So, and the glue, we just let it dry naturally. So the glue is all set again, and all we had to do really is just slightly reprofile this area. I've been in with some, all with 80 grit. Just gonna roll this to the side I want it. It's 240 grit. We've got some 240 grit here. And all I'm going to do is reprofile. So I want to just sand everything so it's ready to take on more oil. And I don't have to go any great guns at anything because it's already been reprofiled. It's just to smooth everything off. And again, all I'm going to do is roll my fingers over and when I'm happy, everything's good, like almost just about is, what I should do, I should have bent this, pre-bent this, so I'll roll it the opposite way. This is where it needs to be, look. With his hand, like this. And we're almost done, we're almost ready for oiling the board, or the neck should I say. Now, we're not oil it yet, this is the thing. I actually need to level the frets. I may as well do all the oiling and everything after I've levelled the frets. So there you go, that's everything all rubbed down. I'm going to need got some kitchen roll here. Bear with me a second. We're going to go over with some 400 grit now. Here. I'm actually going to cut this in half. It should have rolled the opposite way really, shouldn't it? So we're just going to smooth off with some 400 grit. Bear with me a second, I'm just rolling it the opposite way, guys. And that's a little bit better. And these are loose. I'll sort that out in a bit. That has lost its, oh no, still got a screw on there. Get that back in. I'm going to be removing all of this anyway in a moment. So finishing off with the 400 again, same deal. Just moving it right off. So we now have a straight neck. I guarantee the frets are not level, but we have a straight neck, reprofiled, sanded back, ready for oiling. But I'm going to get the frets done first. So you can see how much work has gone into this. That is beautiful. And that, my friends, just feels fabulous. All up and down the neck, feels super smooth. So we now have an untwisted and straight neck, all sanded back, ready for oiling later. But first we're going to level these frets, recrown them and polish them. So that's the next part of the job. I'm going to remove the tuners. I'm going to actually clean this with some, we'll grab some naphtha. Now we don't have naphtha in England, but we do have zipper-writer fluid, which basically is naphtha. And this is going to degrease, it'll dry it out. Just give a good rub on there. Trust me, this is the good stuff. And this is going to evaporate. Don't light anything near it. Look at that grain pop now. Now when this will dry out, look at that. But this will dry out. It'll be degreased. And when I give it a few coats of oil, in a day or two, this grain is going to pop. It's going to look so good. So there you go. That is now ready for oiling. So here we go. We got a neck in that was not usable. It was just scrapboard. We've straightened it. We've got the twist out of it. We've straightened it, and now we're going to fix the frets. Stay tuned, guys. Right, friends, just remove my hat so you can see me. So regarding this neck, now it is not perfectly straight. We're straight here. We've got a bit of a dip in this area. That's because I've not done anything to straighten the neck yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at it with this on here, a little bit of back bow toward the nut, and we're not so bad Got a tiny bit of relief just at this end here. So what I'm going to do is, we've got a little bit of backbone, so I'm going to alter. I'm just going to slightly loosen the truss rod because I want to get it as close as I can. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to back clamp this onto a flat surface. And I'll explain that because I'm going to do it on the other bench just over there, just behind me. So you're going to get to see what I'm doing shortly. Just want to try and get this as straight as I can. It's better for me to just stick it in that position on the bench. We are straight all the way up to a 12 fret. 12 fret bar. This area here, we've got a tiny bit of sag in there. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to back clamp it. I'm going to back clamp it with the truss rod loose. So I'm going to loosen the truss rod, which is loose now. You see, is that loose, everyone? Would you say that's loose? I'd say that's very loose. Look. So a loose truss rod. We're going to have a look again. Nice heavy neck this. Beautifully profiled now, by the way. So we always have to reprofile because we never get a perfect match when we put the fingerboard back on. But that is stunning. I'm always blown away by how good these necks come out when done. Now I've got two more of these on the, well, I've got one in the workshop. That neck is straight, apart from just about this area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back clamp it, I'm going to clamp it there, going to clamp it there, and I'm going to clamp it here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to steam this area and I'm going to steam this area each side of the clamp, and we're going to clamp that into, with a clamp there, we're going to clamp that to straightness. So all we need is a straight surface. So the bench over here is going to be my straight surface. So I'm going to move everything off that bench across there. I'm going to move this across, show you how I'm going to clamp it, and we're going to get the iron again. We're going to get a wet rag or a tea towel, and we're going to steam it from the back this time, and we're just going to steam some heat through just to get it straight. I may have to turn it over and give a bit of steam through the fingerboard, but I think I might not have to. So in the past I've been able to just back clamp them. So I think we're going to be absolutely fine. So give me 5 minutes to get set up. We'll get some tools set up. We'll get it on that bench over there. We'll crack on. We'll get this neck straight because I can't do the frets until the neck is straight. So guys, check this out. This bench, where I do a lot of my fret work, we're going to use this as a flat surface. And we're going to clamp this neck, and it is straight. I have to get the straightest part of it. That is straight enough all along that length. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp this neck in these two areas. I'm going to clamp it straight, or as straight as I can get it. That looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to grab two vices for the end. The reason I'm grabbing the two vices at the end is they're the ones that are going to hold it in place. So I don't want anything shifting. So let me just grab a couple of pieces of wood. These will do us for now. We'll do some F clamps. A bit of an overlap there. I'm going to have to get that, so bear with me. Back. That was a sweet lady, sounded like an old lady, asking if I sold plectrums, and I don't. But she wants some for a 6-year-old granddaughter who's just started playing ukulele. So I've given her a number of a music shop in Mansfield, not too far away. It's the most I could really help her with, or most I could do. So right, so we're going to clamp this. Going to clamp this ear neck here. If you'll let us. And there you go. Nice F clamp there. And we are tight. That's tight there. Let's just get the clamp out road. I'm happy with that. I'm going to clamp on the last fret here, just so we don't get no wibble wobble. And you'll see now everything's all flat to that bench. But what we're going to do is I'm going to grab another. What we have to clamp here. I need a better piece of wood than that. See what I've got knocking about in the other room. There's always something knocking about somewhere else. Right, okay. So here I want to clamp right on there, right on that little beauty. Don't matter which way I go with this, as long as I get a good clamp. That is going to be about there, I would say. Probably like this to run back a little bit more than that. Let's see how that's going to work. Now then, I'm inside the frets, which is really good. So we have the neck, hopefully clamped flat. We've got all of that on camera. Got most of that on camera. Let's just whiz out a little bit. How are we looking there? That looks pretty good, guys. So, clamps at this end, clamps at this end. Now the frets now are all touching this piece of wood. But what I'm going to do is, because it's like that, all I'm going to do is I'm going to steam here and here. Just want to steam this area. And I think that's going to straighten us enough. I don't need a clamp on there, it's gone straight. So if I just get some gentle heat around here, we're going to be bang on. So let me go and get some rags and get some steam, and we'll crack on and get this neck straightened properly. And here we go. It's pretty simple. Got my iron heated up. Got a pot of water here. I've actually made it lukewarm because it's a bit cold today. I've got half of a tea towel here. I'm just going to wet the tea towel. I'm going to squeeze all the water out. And all we're going to do is we're going to double up, and we're going to get some steam into this neck. How's that? Just like this. And what this is going to do is it's going to get some heat through the neck, melt the glue between the neck and the fingerboard, and get some steam in there, get some heat in there, because that's what we want to do. We're not worried about any slippage because we're clamped at each end, and all I really want to do is just steam right through the neck here like this. And that, my friends, really is it. And we're just going to keep on doing it. If I can feel heat underneath, I'm happy that the neck is being straightened. Can't feel any significant heat underneath yet, but we'll get there. It's all in the heating and the cooling. Because it's now been clamped straight, and we let this dry naturally, it's going to dry straight. So here again, going right in at the side this time. So you have to be patient doing this. I'm pretty sure we're getting some heat in there all the way through. That should be enough. and that certainly looks straight. There's enough heat in there. So that is it. I'll let that dry naturally, and all being well, when I take the neck from the clamps from the neck, it should be straight, or at least straight enough to level the frets. So this neck is now just about as straight as it's ever going to be, and about as straight as I can get it. And what we're going to do is, I've got the truss rod just nicked up, probably 1/8 of a turn, and that is giving us a straight neck, which is fantastic news actually. So there you go. And that neck is just about as straight as we get. There's a tiny bit of a gap at this end. We ain't going to worry about that. Just see if I can get it better. Probably not going to get it set up well for the camera, but I'll get it set up well for me. It always wants to tip over, but that is pretty darn straight. So what we're going to do is we're going to get it on back onto the neck jig in the other room, and we're going to clamp it. We're going to force it straight with the truss rod off. Then what we're going to do is, once we've got it dead straight, we're going to nip the Allen key up on the truss rod just to tighten it, just to hold it where it is, and we're going to level the frets with the neck dead straight. And hopefully after we take it off again, the neck's going to stay straight. If not, if it still has a tiny little bit of relief, that's okay. We just tighten the truss rod with the string pull on it. Once it's back on the base, it's always going to give us a straight neck with level frets, and it's going to be a really good piece of equipment. That is really nice. If I've done anything, I've turned it back, I've probably gone 1/2 degree over the top. That's just, if it does go the other way, it's going to compensate, but that is more or less, I mean, that's a straight neck, come on. That is a straight neck, that is beautiful. Let me just get out of the way. I'm really pleased with how that's come out. There is a lot of work in these, but you've just got to be patient with them. So we're going to get this clamped back on the piece of MDF, going to get it back on the jig, we're going to force it straight, perfectly straight, and we're going to level the frets with a perfectly straight neck. Once they're levelled, recrowned and polished, nut back on, send it back, he can stick it straight on his base, he's got a straight neck, and it's going to last him for many years to come. So, going to get set up in the other room, back soon. I'm hoping you've got enough light in here. So we have the neck clamped straight on the jig. Let me just check, see where we are. That's as straight as I can get it. Tiny bit of relief in this area, but like I said, the playing surface is the frets, not the fingerboard. So we've got a couple of high frets. We're just going to whiz across, see where the highest ones are. I know fret 2 is not looking too good, so we're going to mark that one off. But we're going to level the lot anyway. They're not too bad, but they need reprofiling because of the dings and the wear already in the frets. They have deep grooves all around this area. I think there's only a couple not showing. That one's high. I think that's about it when it comes to the high ones. But like I said, we've all got deep grooves in there we've got to get out. We're going to reprofile them, so basically recrown them. But as far as high frets go, there really weren't any. These are all looking pretty good. So what we're going to do is going to pen all of these up. Once I flatten those two that need doing, so just check this one again. No, that's high. No, that one's high. So we're going to hit these, not messing about, we're hitting it with the file. Diamond file, precision flat. This file does not mess about. That's why I like it. Let's check this area again. We'll take the height out of that one. Same again with this one. Take the height out of that. That's great. So now we are going to do the whole lot. We need to mark up tops of the frets, permanent marker. I'm going to hit it with some 240 grit sandpaper till all the pen has gone. Then I'm going to mark them up again, hit it with some 400 grit to remove the scratches caused by the 240 grit, to smooth them off a bit more. And then we'll have a neck, straight neck with level frets. We can go and recrown the frets. So there you go. I'll let that dry a second. So, levelling beam, 16-inch levelling beam from Crimson Guitars, 240 grit emery on there, 400 emery on the top. We're going to hit it with the 240 until all of the pen is gone. That, my friends, is just a little bit of pen here, so we need to work this area just a little. And that is all of the pen is gone. I didn't bring a cloth to hold anything down. Bear with me a second. Go and grab a cloth. The light is not brilliant in it, it's why I don't like working in this room that much. But that is everything wiped off. The tops of the frets are all brass again. I'm going to mark them up, we're going to hit them with the 400 grit. So not a great load of material needed to off the top of these frets. There are now no divots. They are quite a soft fret, being a brass alloy. This is a part of the job that makes the neck playable. When it comes to working necks like this and using heat and clamping stuff back, you really got to take your time and trust in what you're doing. I've taken so many jobs on that nobody else would touch, and I'm not frightened. I just do like to tell people, look, there's no guarantee I'm going to get it straight. If I do get it straight, there's no guarantee it's going to stay straight forever. Now the first one I did these, I believe it was 5 years ago now, and that's still straight to this day. So everyone I've done still straight to this day. This is number 4. So 400 grit. I do overlap when I come down to this end because your radius is the full width of the fret, not following the line of the neck. That's what we want, a compound radius. This is not a compound radius. So all of the pen is gone. And now means that these frets are level. And we're now ready to recrown and then polish them. I'm just checking over here. They look beautiful. That's fantastic. So let's go across with a fret rocker. So the frets are level. Easy part next, we're going to recrown And another horrible part, which is polishing, which takes far too long. This will be ready by the weekend. We are Thursday afternoon as we are right now. And that's the frets level, so that's it. We can now go and recrown the frets, get them polished and get us ready to go back. So here we have the neck as straight as we can get it. We have levelled the frets. You'll see now that the frets are flat topped, not crowned. We need recrowning again now. All of the frets are brass topped, meaning we've scooted across with a level. We've got the neck as straight as we can. We've got the frets level with the neck as it is. We're just going to check again the whereabouts the neck is. So like I said, there is a tiny bit of relief in this end that we didn't completely get rid of, but as things go, there's hardly anything in that. That's really good. So I'm really happy with how that's come out. Tiny bit of light just round the fret area from 9 to about 16. A little bit of relief in there, but like I say, the paint surface is the top of the frets, and that's what matters. So the frets are level with the neck in that alignment. So I would have thought if you can put your neck on as it is, your base is going to be set up perfectly. That looks really good. So not a great load of meat left on the frets, but we're going to recrown them in a moment. I'm just first going to give the fingerboard a little squirt of oil, get that cleaned up because there's still some crud in there. So I'm going to get all that off. We're going to clean the headstock, and then we're going to set the neck up ready for crowning and then polishing the frets. Now we're going to crown these frets, and by crown I mean where we flatten them after leveling them, we're going to rebuild that crown, and the crown goes that way. So imagine this is like a I'll show you the crown from this side. It's like a D shape on its side. We're going to rebuild the flat on the top. We're going to rebuild that crown there. Now in the olden days, and I don't mean medieval times, I mean recent old days, we'd have been doing this with a three-cornered file, but with modern technology being what it is, I've got some modern files that are going to do the work for me. And this one is a Z file made by Stumac. Great piece of kit, and it has two cuts. If I show you, there's a long but shallow cut there, and there's a sharp steep cut there. It's a diamond file. You'll see it's encrusted with diamonds in there. And if I flip it 180 degrees, it'll be the exact opposite. Same cuts, but in the opposite position. And what this does is, I mean, magically, it will not hit the top of the fret. Now we've leveled the fret, so we don't want to remove any material from the top anyway. But this won't touch the top, but it will remove material from the sides. Start to build us up, it'll build us up that crown shape. And once we've done it with that file, I'll come and round them over with this file. Again, great piece of kit. This is, I can't remember where I got this from. I'm not sure if it's Philadelphia Tools in America or not. It could be, or it could be somewhere else. But great file. This cost me £100 when I first bought it years ago, with import tax and everything. This cost me about £65. But I'm going to show you how it works. We need to mark the frets up again with black marker, permanent marker, and I'm going to show you how we rebuild that crown. So I've taken to not moving the camera because it's annoying, so I'm going to show you. Got those 3 frets marked up there, and I'm going to work these 3 frets. I'm going to start with the Z file by Stumac, and like I say, it's just a matter of holding the neck firm, going over with one side. It cuts really quickly. Flipping it 180 degrees, and that has cut that fret. You've got a nice thin black line down the centre, and it's rebuilt that crown, but it's not removed anything from the height. Then we're going to go in with this one and just straight over, just to remove any inconsistencies there. And that is that fret. That fret is now recrowned, ready for polishing. Now we're not going to polish them all at the same time, but that one is done. Now I'm just going to show you how we are. You see there all the filings and everything, but we've recrowned that one. I don't know if you can see from where you are. I'll try and show you there. We've rebuilt that crown. So it doesn't take long with these modern files. So I'm going to crack on and get the rest of them done. We always give the file a clean after a fret. And I must remember this fret cuts a lot of material in a short space of time. So with this thin black line on the top, that is the contact point of the string to the fret. And we like it nice and thin because if it's thinner, we're not going to get any frettables later on, or we don't get any frettables at all. And that is 2 done. We're going to wipe up and clean up as we go along. And what we can do is, just to show that we've not removed any height, we can take the fret rocker, get it back on there. If we remove any height, you're getting a rock somewhere. But no, not at all. Fantastic. Again, clean the file. It's going to take me a while to do all of these, so I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to show you all the stuff that's coming off the frets. Look, there's all the brass dust there. Soft fret wire this, so it doesn't take too much work. That's beautiful. Three done. So there you go. Like I say, it's going to take me a while to get the rest done. So I'm going to crack on, get them done off camera. Once that's done, I'm going to bring you back in. I'll show you how we polish the frets. So polishing frets, every tech's favourite job. Not 7 different grades of paper. Got 600 there, 600, 800, 1000, 1200, 1500, 2000, but we start off with 400. This being twice as coarse, it's much thicker. Great thing about this 400 is all the scratches we put in that way, this will remove them really easily because it's a real coarse paper. So we're just going to go over the top with this piece. One thing I've not done yet, which I ought to do right now, is tape up the fingerboard. But that paper will remove all of the scratches, and all these other 6 papers here we're going to polish up, starting with a coarse grit coming to a fine grit, so 600 up to 2000. But like I say, what I need to do is just tape up the fingerboard. I haven't done it. Silly me. So what I like to do is get some tape round down the edge, just so it helps peel it when we peel it off later. I can go with either of these papers. This seems to have lost its stick for some reason. Oh well, we'll be alright. I shouldn't be putting this on with gloves on because it makes it not difficult. So yeah, so there's no point in you watching me do this. It's like like watching paint dry. Just gonna so I'll crack on, get this all taped up. I'll come back and show you how I polish the frets. Okay, polishing frets. Fingerboard's all taped up. 6 different grits of paper here, 600, 800, 1000, 1200, 1500, 2000. Start with a coarse grit, coming to a finer grit. And what it's going to do is it's going to remove all the scratches and bring them up to a nice shine. We'll finish off with steel wool just to bring them up to an even better shine. But what I like to do before I hit it with the 600 is first hit it with some 400. This is coarse and the paper's a lot thicker than this much more flimsy stuff here. And this is great because don't forget we'll put scratches in this way when we leveled them. And so what we're going to do is we're going to polish, take the scratches out. I'll just go in that way with the 400 grit, and this will do the whole fingerboard, plenty here. And then we can do the polishing with the other 6 grits. And this brings the scratches out, fantastic. Just makes it a lot easier to bring to a polish. And this is going to take me a while, a good while. Because I've got these 6 grits, I've got 7 grits of paper times, or is it 24? Is it 7 24s? Yep. So that's a lot. And then I've got to finish off with steel wool. So it is going to take me a good while. So I'm going to crack on and do it off camera. And I'm probably not going to get it all done today because I've got a dentist appointment pretty soon. I've got to move the car in a minute. And so I'm going to do a bit of this. I'm going to move the car, I'm going to come back. I've got an hour in here. Then I've got to go to the dentist. And when I've been to the dentist, I've got to go to some acupuncture in Nottingham. So my day today is full. So probably finishing this off tomorrow. But anyway, I'll come back and show you the results. just finishing up on these frets. We've had 7 different grits of sandpaper from 400 through to 2000. I'm finishing off with superfine steel wool. If I'm talking a bit funny, just I've been to the dentist. I had 2 fillings less than an hour ago, and I'm numbed up, so the mouth's not working properly. But that aside, I feel fine. Just finishing off these 3 frets, last 3. And this is what really brings them up to a shine. They're now glass-like, scratch-free, and shining, and that is it. And we're not completely finished yet. I've still got to check the profile. I may have to do a little bit more sanding, and then I'm going to give it a few coats of oil. So now we've done with the frets, we can peel off the tape. And the great thing about a guitar like this is there's no lacquer to worry about. It's a good thing about an unfinished or an unsprayed neck. I will be giving this a coat of mineral oil shortly. There are scratches in this neck going this way from, well, they happened before I got the guitar. It's like someone's polished the frets before and they've not taped up the fingerboard, because there are scratches going this way. But hey ho, it's still going to play fine, surely. It will play fine, it'll be absolutely fine. So removing the tape. Sometimes you get it off in one go, a lot of the time you don't. There you go. There's no point me oiling anything up just yet, because I might have a bit more sanding to do, I don't know, but this neck will definitely be finished today. And there you go, that's all the tape off. Grab all this crap off here. In the bin, job's a good one. So that was a little bit there. So okay, the neck's not finished yet, but look at those frets. They are fantastic. Levelled, recrowned and polished. You're certainly getting your money's worth here. They are beautiful. So what's left for me to do now is just to finish final sanding, which I'm happy with the profile. It feels fine. Just a little bit of, it's weird because I've not scraped there, but that's where it's not smooth, and that's not where I needed to finish anything, so it must have come in like that. But we're going to just smooth that off. Very, very strange. Let's just go over with some 240. Even though it doesn't look like it, I'm bending round here like this, so the 240 might be enough. Try and get rid of any roughness I feel, just up this edge. And now that feels super smooth, that's beautiful. We've got the same here again, some chattering down here, and you can see the chattering, but it's not anything I've done, it was already there. Same again, just nice and smooth. That's beautiful and smooth. Finish off with some 400 just there, and now you don't feel the chattering or anything at all, so that is beautiful. Again here. And there you go, and that is all done, and that's beautiful. So we are going to give a couple of coats of boiled linseed oil, nothing else. I'm just going to clean that up. Get a little bit of naphtha on there, or as we call it in England, Zippo lighter fluid. And so you're just going to clean it all up. I can just do that with my hand. Beautiful. away. I'm going to wipe down, and the rest of it will evaporate into the ether. Well, now I'm ready to give it just a coat or two of boiled linseed oil, which will be enough. I'm going to wear gloves for this and then get my fingers all oiled up because I'm going to have to leave shortly. So I'm going to give it one good smattering of oil. I'm going to get washed up and I'm going to go for an appointment in Nottingham this afternoon. So if I need to finish up on this tomorrow, I will do, but for all intents and purposes, this guitar is finished. This neck is finished. And what a huge project it is now. What have I done with that? I do have a rag I use for applying oil. What have I done with it? Right, because I can't find it, I'm going to use some paper. Let's do that instead. That's fine. And I've given my oil a good shake, a good rattle and a good roll. And all we're going to do is apply to the neck. And get some on there. And just a few coats is going to be enough. And this is what's going to bring it all out. You can now see a nice serial number on there. HO94865-02. There you go. And look how the grain pops when you're oiling up there. It's like a new neck. This will be better than a new neck because one, it's not going to bend again. Well, I've never had one bend again. And there you go. And look at the grain. You probably see it better that way anyway. Look at that. So beautiful. Almost a piece of art. So he's got a new neck there, more or less. I'm going to let that do its job. And that, my friends, for all intents and purposes, I'm going to add another 2 or 3 coats of this, but for all intents and purposes, that is finished. So the next time you see me with this on film, we'll be tying up the video. And here we are, friends, we are all done with this neck. And look at it, it's like a brand new neck, if not better. Because the new neck, obviously, brand new, it had faults, otherwise it wouldn't have twisted. So we've straightened the twist, we've straightened the hump, we've got the neck straight, we've leveled the frets. The biggest, most difficult thing to do on these is when you heat the fingerboard to get it straight, because we heat it from the top, the fingerboard always shrinks and it goes inside of the neck, so the neck is protruding at the side. So what we have to do then is, once we've got it straight, we clamp it at both ends, keeping it straight, and then we steam it in the areas where it shrunk to let it grow back, because it melts the glue as it grows back, and as it cools, it sticks again to the neck underneath. And that's exactly what we did. We have to do a little bit of reprofiling on the edges, which we always do with these. It's the only way to get them fixed. But there you go. We have a neck as good as new, if not better. That is as straight as I can get it. It looks fantastic. It's had a complete fret job on it as well. Not a refret, but a fret level recrown and polish. So the guy has certainly got his money's worth for £275 posted. It's been a lot of work. It's been a fabulous project. I love doing these. And this is the 4th one I've done. I've already got the 5th one in the workshop. Now this was different in as much as I didn't need to replace the truss rod, because the truss rod was fine. So this one a lot easier, but still a lot of work. A great project. I really had fun doing it, and I'm going to be really pleased when Mark gets it back, and I'm sure he's going to be very pleased with it. But it is done, it's finished, it's been a beautiful project again. Not great earners for me because I put the hours in on these. These have more hours, a lot more hours than I charge for, and I didn't do this at the full rate for all the work I've done, but all the same, a fantastic project, and it is finished. So one thing left for me to do before I go, and that is to remind you of my website. Best place to get hold of me or information or anything like that is on Facebook. So facebook.com/ng17. That's facebook.com/ng-ONESEVEN. I am Victor, I am your fret friend, and until next time, as always, God bless you, be very good to each other, and I will see you all in the next one.